Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Realm of Ori. In this video, we will continue with Volume 16, Chapter 2, Interviews, Part 5. And before we start, this video contains spoilers from the Tensura Light Novel. And by the way guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I started thinking about skills while I waited for the next interviewer. From what I had learned at the recent Evolution Festival and in the fights with the powerful people of the Empire, I had a question. Skills are based on the power rooted in the soul, which is where the laws of this world come from. It might be given by the voice of the world after a lot of practice or a big accomplishment. I hadn't really thought much about this strange thing until now. I've always done it this way, but because of what had happened, I could no longer ignore the question. To put it simply, what is the core of a skill? The question was this. When I came to this world for the first time, I had unique skill. Or, voice of the world was playing while I was dying in the other world. From this, we can figure out that a skill isn't only found in this world. If that was the case, the question would be even harder to answer, and I couldn't help but wonder if there were people in my original world who could use skills. At first, people thought that a unique skill was something that only heroes could get. As the word unique suggested, different people could use these skills in different ways, and they were very powerful. It helped people figure out what they wanted and gave them the power to get what they wanted. I got Predator and Great Sage, but I didn't ask for Great Sage, which is a funny story. Impolite. I am here because Rimuru-sama asked for me. Yes. Just because I'm a virgin. No, I'm not going to think about it anymore. If that's what Seal said, I must have had a deep desire for something like that. That was a bit of a risky subject to look into further, so let's just leave it at that. Okay, let's get back to the point. This means that sometimes skills don't come from the soul, even though they usually do. Skills learned when physical training is at its limit may be written on the body, but not on the soul. This is especially true for skills you get from eating monsters. These kinds of skills are called race intrinsic skills. Each race of the same kind had an intrinsic skill that could be passed down from one generation to the next. Most of the time, skills learned through training were just extra skills. After that, it was still mostly useful to combine or improve sword skills with original techniques to make them more useful. In fact, magic was another type of skill. This is true because I was able to figure it out by eating. As you can see, there are a lot of different kinds of skills, but the unique skills are the most important ones. A unique skill is a skill that only the person who made it has. Each one is bound to do things differently. Even though there will be similarities in the larger categories, there won't usually be two unique skills that are the same. In some cases, they are made again and again, but that is an unusual case. This is true of an orc lord's unique skill, Starved. It is an intrinsic skill that only blood relatives of the awakened race can pass on to their children. Since this Starved skill is written on the body, it seems like it was never meant for people of other races to use. In my case, I simply ignored it until now because I immediately merged it with Predator. I think Shizu-san got her deviant from her soul. Then they gave it to me. Because of this, I can now use it myself, and I wouldn't have been able to get it otherwise. I think that the skills that are written on the soul are more powerful in some way. The alternative ultimate enchantment skills that Rudra gave were, of course, carved into the body. If someone isn't a saint, they won't have enough energy to use it. This is because they probably didn't get the power themselves, so they wouldn't know how to use it well. That's why it was so strong, but even at the unique level, it could be beaten. Diablo had beaten Jiwoo and Bernie, who had the ultimate skills, but this shouldn't have been possible in the first place. Ultimate skills can't be beaten by unique skills. Ultimate skills can only be beaten by other ultimate skills. There were some exceptions, like Chloe's Infinite Prison and Absolute Severance and Masayuki's Chosen One, but at the unique skill level, it was impossible to beat someone with an ultimate skill. Even unique skills had a significant strength disparity, but when it came to ultimate skills, the gap was as wide as heaven and earth. Those who got an ultimate skill could figure out how the world worked. So, magic, which was based on the laws of the world, was the way to become a higher being. This could only be stopped by ultimate spells like disintegration or primordial spells, which are the strongest spells in the sacred system. So, it's also possible that Diablo beat them with the most powerful magic, but that didn't seem to be the case. If he tried hard enough, he might be able to do anything. That's an example of how there are no absolutes in the real world. Anyway, depending on the situation, it is possible to do better than someone with an ultimate skill even if you don't have one. But there is no question that the best way to deal with an ultimate skill is to get one yourself. The next step is to get a good understanding of what the skill is and how to use it correctly. I used to have Wisdom King Raphael tell me how to use them right, but that didn't happen very often. Even if it was a skill you made yourself, there may be times when you can't use it because you didn't use it correctly. Fufufu. Dino made an interesting mistake not long ago. Huh? I couldn't help but ask out in that way, which made Seal laugh, so she started talking about it. As was already said, Dino's skills changed as the battle went on. The unique skill, Sloth, which was the most powerful of the 7 deadly sins, turned into the ultimate Skill Sloth King Belphegor. At first, it was said to be a skill that could do scary things. And yet, Zijin had completely beaten it. One reason was that Zijin was so much stronger than everyone else, but the real problem was that Dino hadn't been able to use Sloth King Belphegor to its full potential. He probably didn't fully understand it because he was hiding behind the skill. Dino's laziness led to the creation of the ultimate Skill Sloth King Belphegor, which made him weaker the more he moved. So, the first time this skill was used, it was to help subordinates and companions. The ability to give his friends some of the power he had built up. If he had used it in that way, the Sloth King Belphegor would have shown what it was really worth. Even though it happened while we were away, there were a lot of pictures in the battle records, archives, of the labyrinth. Seal liked to study them, so this is how it told me about them. She would know what the skill was and how to use it right, but a lazy person like Dino seemed to have been fooled by the skill's surface and never got to the heart of it. Or, the enemy made the mistake of getting Dino to work in the first place. Geld and Kumara might have been in trouble if Dino had been lazy as usual and let his friends Pico and Gracia do the work. From that point of view, I thought we were lucky. We only got this lucky because I gave Dino work and showed him how much fun work can be. If I could make up with Dino, I would teach him a valuable lesson if that time ever came. The worst evaluation is that the harder you work, the more you fail. In any case, as you can see, it's not easy to understand one's skills correctly. Some skills, like Masayuki's, happen on their own, even if you don't want them to. It's hard to keep such skills under control, and it's even harder to use them well. Knowing what a skill is and how to use it to its fullest extent is the same as knowing your own mind. It is hard to understand, and I think you might have to spend your whole life trying to figure it out. In other words, if someone wrongly thinks that skills are just a handy tool, they will never be able to use them to their fullest potential. You're right. Please look after me better and face me the right way. I felt like I was misunderstood, but I stopped giving it any thought. Just as I was finishing what I was thinking, someone knocked on my door. Benimaru was the one who came in, led by Shuna. You were looking for me? I heard that this meeting was private. What were you going to ask? Sorry, I just did this on a whim. On a whim? Yeah, everyone's strengths have grown a lot because of this war, haven't they? I believed it would be wise to measure everyone's strength since we can estimate their presences in the labyrinth as well. Oh, I see, that's a big deal. Benimaru's face lit up when he heard what I had to say. He seemed to have been getting ready to answer questions about his new life as a married man. Well, I'm interested in that, but wouldn't asking about it be power harassment and sexual harassment? Is that true? Sue actually said, if you were able to evolve smoothly, you only did what you had to do. I thought I would have to help you because you're so late in life. Just like what Benimaru said. Brother? He was interrupted by Shuna, who was bringing in cake, who smiled. There were shivers running down my spine from the force of the crushing. Why are you being so rude in front of Rimuru-sama? Sorry. I'm sorry. Even the tough Benimaru couldn't beat Shuna. Rimuru-sama as well. You should have told him off instead of agreeing with what my brother said. Yes, you are correct. I'll be careful. This is something that can't be argued with. I knew that very well, and I waited for Shuna to feel good. I was so scared that I couldn't even eat the cake. Benimaru and I both let out a big sigh when Shuna left the room to take the tray. Phew, that didn't work out, did it? Yeah, you should think about the time and place the next time you say something like that. Understood. I was going to say that I didn't want to talk about it, so I don't know how it turned out this way. Yes, you're right, I'm sure it happens, but it sounds like you're trying to show off to me. Let's talk about that some other time. I decided to check on Benimaru as planned for now. Name: Benimaru. Existence value: 4,397,788 plus the Red Lotus 1.14 million. Race: Divine Oni. Greater Chaos Spirit. Flame Spirit Oni. Blessing: Rimuru's Blessing. Title: Flare Lord. Magic: Flare Spirit Magic. Skill: Ultimate Skill, Heat King Amaterasu. New resistance: Physical Attack Nullification, abnormal condition nullification, natural effects nullification, mental attack resistance, holy demonic attack resistance. He got the ultimate skill, Heat King Amaterasu, by giving up the unique skill, Born Leader. Its abilities included Thought Acceleration, Demon Lord Haki, Universal Perception, Light and Heat Domination, Will Control, Spatial Domination, Multi-Layer Barrier, and so on. Seal said that his skills were even similar to some of Velgrin's abilities. But Benimaru had almost reached the ultimate skill through his own strength alone. Seal told me that it didn't do much for him. But still, Benimaru's own existence value is over 4 million, and when he has Red Lotus, it goes up by more than 1 million. Doesn't that beat Luminos? Also, there is probably no way to cheat the existence value. To be more specific, a person's existence value in the labyrinth can be measured with a lot of accuracy. If someone wanted to cheat, they would have to hide a mythical level weapon or a split body somewhere else, such as Velgrind. For example, at the clone level, the split body would have such a low value that it would be easy to spot as a fake. Outside of the labyrinth, cheating was easy, but going inside was like sticking your head in a hot spring. They couldn't get away from Ramirez's appraisal. Ramirez is very good at this, but she also does some things that are bad. In short, she doesn't know what she can do or what she can't. Someone once said in a conversation, "It would be nice if we could make accurate measurements," which is how I learned how to do this. I think Shinji said it, but Ramirez said, "It's possible," in response. At that time, I heard that the mood in the room was delicate. Everyone must have thought, I wish she would have told us sooner. If that was the case, we could have measured not only Luminos' existence value, but also those of Guy and Velzard-san. Also, if we had measured Dino's presence, we would have seen that he was much stronger than his looks suggested. Well, it wouldn't have mattered if I had noticed if I wasn't sure he would betray us. We could have been more careful, but we couldn't do anything in this case. Anyway, the existence value was useful as a measure of strength even though it was a reference value. After that, I was sure that Benimaru could keep up with the 3 Phantom Commanders and Dino. Even in Million class, he was among the best and I could count on him to be my right-hand man. I couldn't stop thinking about just one thing. I thought that having children was supposed to make monsters weaker. You're right. Most of the time, they lose a lot of magicules. How did you then become so strong? Ha ha ha. That's a mystery. What in the world is going on? I have no idea either. Sue kept bugging me about it and asking me how I did it. Oh, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who was interested. Well, the answer to this question would be good news for the monsters. Many hobgoblins get married, but I haven't heard of any of them getting weaker because of it. But the more powerful the effect was, the higher up in the hierarchy the monsters were. I hoped that this problem would be solved one day. Please let me know what you find out. Got it. Then, I'll switch to Sue now. The interview with Benimaru ended without an answer to that one question.